YouTube, this is part 2 of the Michigan family haircut, man. So we got Mike in the chair right now. Here's a waiver. So of course, you got to give him the waiver special. So we did give him a 2 open on the crown and a 2 closed everywhere else. So as you guys can see, I'm just identifying where that crown is, and I'm cutting it the way that he brushes his crown. If you guys don't know how your client brushes their crown, make sure you ask them to show you. That way you can go in the same direction that they cut. The same direction that they brush their hair, just with the clippers. So I decided to do a 2 close because I personally think that the 1 open would be too low for him. So we did a 2 close using my Gamma Urkels. And I'm just going in the same direction he brushes his hair, going over multiple times to make sure that hair is even as possible. After cutting his hair down, we're just going to brush his hair to lay it back down, because the number one goal from a waiver is to have that hair laid as possible. So after you cut the hair down, make sure you get like a soft brush or like a medium soft, just to make sure that hair is laid. And now just to dump into the taper. This is a simple, really low taper out of the waves, just to clean up this side area. I'm just doing my lever open. I'm keeping my guidelines small. I'm not really worried about how the blend is going to be. Most waivers aren't. As long as it's cleaned up on the sides, they're okay. So now after finishing the taper, just going to do some detail work. My steps are pretty simple. Just use the lever open, 1 open, 2 closed, 1 open, 0 closed, and then bottom line, do some detail work. Now as you can see, the back isn't easy as it looks, okay? Now I used to struggle with cutting his back taper. I've learned over the many times that I cut his hair. You have to keep your guidelines lower when it's something like this, because you can clearly see the guideline on top of this guideline is going to be the higher one. Okay, so I'm going to do my 1 open after I do this lever open, and that's where it's going to get higher. So I'm going up less where the lightest parts are at the top of his taper. You can clearly see it, and I'm like trying to keep it lower in that area, and I'm trying to go higher in the darker areas so it can kind of balance itself out. But as you guys can see, when it gets done, you can see, like, at the end of the cut, you're going to see how it came out. It's going to be clean. I try my best to balance it out as much as possible. Yeah, you guys have to get in those indents. If a client has an indent in the back of their head, you got to dig in those, bro. Still set your guidelines the same and just adjust them accordingly. Now I'm doing the lineup. I did lower it down first, use my 1 open and then the 1 closed. Do use my cocoa trimmers now. You can get these at thebarberplug.com. Use my code WavyKid at checkout if you guys want some of these hitters, man. A lot of people ask me what I use for lineups. Most of the time is this. And as you guys can see, it's going to come out real crispy. lineup. As you guys can see, this front lineup isn't easy, okay? We are going to lower it down first, and we are going to have to create a hairline because that left side is naturally higher than the right side. So you're going to have to cut all that overhang off in the right side. Not digging too deep in the hairline, but just enough to give him an actual crispy hairline that'll last. And as I told you guys before in the last video, when doing the vertical bars, if their forehead is naturally smaller, put your pinky in the middle of the eyebrow and at the end of the eyebrow, and then place the vertical bar in the middle of those two guidelines. And you can see this circle, the C cup isn't as strong. It's not really strong at all on either side. So you just gotta have a vision when doing something like this. And this is where enhancements come into play, okay? Because there's really no hair there, and if we left it natural, it wouldn't look crispy at all. It wouldn't look like you have a cut. So you guys need to learn how to use enhancements the right way instead of just trying to cover up mistakes. And we are using 245 no drip. You can get that at 245.com. Use my code WavyK at checkout for that. And to end off every cut, just going to do a freehand trim, just so there's no hairs sticking up on top of the hair or out of the waves.